guys, like, Baba, where do we put Eshu? And you're going to hear so many different things. You're going to hear behind the front door, outside at the front door, the garage, the back patio, you know, the bush, whatever. So there's an Odu known as Obaraobe, right? And in Obaraobe, Orumila had visited a land to be able to consult them. They had some situations, and the Odu of Obaraobe Lantosi was revealed, where Ifa said they needed to perform Ebo, right? And when they performed the Ebo, the issues were basically resolved, right? So Orumila said, on top of the Ebo you guys just did, you have to perform another one to be able to solidify the effects. Now, at that point, people became suspicious of Orula. They were a little bit frugal, and they said, hey, Orula, don't try to scam us out of a couple $100 more. We're not doing the second Ebo, so you could keep it pushing. And he was like, okay, thank you. And he left. So the Ebo that they did, the first one, was to be left at the entrance of where they lived, right? So these three passerbys come by, and they introduced themselves as Elegwao Gung and Ochosi. And they said, you know, what offerings do you guys leave? You know, we're deities, we're Orishas, you know. And they were like, oh, there's an Ebo there at the entrance. But when they looked in the Ebo, it was rotten because it was old, which is the reason why Orumila said, hey, you have to do a fresh one, because, I mean, nobody knew that the warriors were showing up other than Ifa. So that's why there's always an aspect of blind faith. So based on being offered rotten materials, they took insult to it, and they said, yo, from this point forward, nothing moves. Nothing comes in or out of here, right? So Ogun would be the executioner, Ochosi would keep watch, and Elegua would be the doorman into the village. So basically, people had to concoct this plot to try to escape or draw Orula back. Orula ended up, in some versions, somebody went looking for him. In another version, he had done the lap around the world and ended up back where he started. And, you know, when he got back, people were like, please do it, Bo, and read us and things like that. And Obaraobe came out again, where Ifa said they needed to perform a fresh Ebo. And there's multiple versions of the Ebo, where sometimes it takes a rooster. The main focus was the Eko, right? And when they made the fresh offering to the warriors, you know, Elegua and Ogun Ochosi recognized Orula, and they looked at the people and they said, the only guy who could recommend one Ebo after another is Ifa, right? So how does this all apply to the position or location of Eshu and ultimately the warriors? If you notice, they were posted at the entrance of the village. So they would see everybody that would come in and everybody that would leave. And the reason being is it was a checkpoint system. It was almost like a bouncer concept where, you know, nobody can come in that we don't want, and nothing to leave that we want to stay. So that's why Eshu has always ultimately been identified with the entrances of things.